The double-engine Sarkara has taken over. They're all smiles and waves. Body language is there. But what preceded it was like a bruising warfare for about 100 hours, Rajdeep. Is this unity going to prevail? First question.
First of all, it was good old-fashioned politics. You know, this is what politics is about. Politics is about struggles for power, battles for power. And the more now I think about it, actually I think DK Shivakumar knew from day one he was not becoming Chief Minister. He was playing for what he's got. He's now unquestioned number 2. Remember, there are a lot of Karnataka leaders in that 60 to 70 age group. And he's actually outsmarted them all by projecting himself. KPCC president now will have important portfolios. So it wasn't that. So I think the optics were not great for a party. When you win an election, you don't want to see these past struggles running from one office to the other. But Rahul Srivastava and I did journalism in the 1990s where this was even done for Pradhan Mantri. Kaun banega Pradhan Mantri? The likes of I.K. Gujral, H.D. Devagowda became, prime ministers through all these goings on and power struggles. So I think the Congress for once has eventually got it right. This was the only way. Siddaramaiah had to become Chief Minister. He's the mass leader. DK Shivakumar, organizer, Deputy Chief Minister. Will it work? We don't know. You know, it could well become a disaster. But on the other hand, it could provide a template for the future. Localize your leaderships, empower local leaders. That's the way forward. The best thing was the Gandhis played such a little role. You know, that was, maybe Sonia Gandhi eventually spoke to DK Shivakumar. Maybe that also is part of Congress folklore. You know, only when Sonia ji speaks that do they listen. But I actually thought the best thing was they were all going to Mallikarjun Kharge's house and not to 10 Janpath.
So he was the guy doing all the
business. Kannadiga, so then, you know...
Yeah, he's Kannadiga, he's Dalit. They've had a large proportion of Dalits have voted for the, the biggest... We keep talking Vokaliga Lingayats. This election turned on how the Dalits and the Adivasis, Muslims, all coalesced around, the Congress. So, I was, as a journalist, very happy with the last 5 days. We finally had some news to break.
And we broke everything. I want to repeat that over and over again, especially
because with the Modi government, you get no access.
It's my state, and it's an honor that we broke everything as far as it's concerned. The question that he raised just now about whether this unity will prevail, a new template has been set. We did see some pretty aggressive, combative, competitive politics for that chair, Rahul. But at the end of the day, they've both decided to, beat this double-engine Sarkara in Karnataka. Do you see fault lines, or is it going to be stable?
See, Shiv, the benefit of watching Karnataka elections from Delhi is that you do miss a lot what was happening on the ground, but you get a wider picture. I think what Rajdeep is saying, beyond that, there is a much interesting thing which has happened in the Congress party and in Karnataka politics and for the national politics. What I say is that it was a hyper-local election. So Congress celebrates the fact. Who was on ticket? It was DK Shivakumar and Siddaramaiah. So they have led the party to a victory. Who are the MLAs loyal to? They are loyal to those two. So not to the party top brass. So this rotational formula thing element is basically a product of a weakness of the High Command by birth. It is not creating weaknesses for future. It is weakness which led to this issue. Now, what happens in future?
You mean to say that if the High Command was strong, they would have just appointed someone?
Then Rahul Gandhi would have been on ticket. It would not have been these two fighting among each other. Rahul Gandhi would have had the authority to say, boss, the election has been won because of me, MLAs are loyal to me, I say Siddaramaiah. No, it didn't happen like that. Rajdeep, romantic notion, yes, that the family has receded. No,
I didn't say receded.
No, see, Rajdeep, you create a template straight away, family receded. No, it has basically done it because it does not want a Rajasthan or a Chhattisgarh that the blame of a rotational formula should come to them. It should go to Mr. Kharge. So, think about that line also.
Very interesting.
One minute. And second, what I say that eventually the broader picture, Congress 5 days ago had 2 states. Today it has 4. It is doing something right. It is creating regional leaders by fighting hyper-local elections. The High Command may be getting weaker. It's okay. But tomorrow if they start winning states, they will start winning Lok Sabha. The High Command will get stronger. The BJP is doing reverse. It is weakening the local leadership and trying to push the High Command.
Emphasizing too much on the High Command.
Eventually, it is doing what the Congress did and made mistakes.
Very interesting. Okay, we'll talk about hyper-local and local elections, etc. In another episode. I want to focus in the limited time we have on unity and whether it can prevail till 2024. Preeti, during our coverage, a running thread through the last 100 hours has been Karnataka is going to become another Rajasthan. The BJP kept saying, oh, the Congress through its, alleged indecision, which seems like a joke right now, has sowed the seeds of another Rajasthan in the making, and that DK and Sidda are going to become like a pilot and Gehlot. How did you see it, and how are the two things different?
But, I actually don't see the two things very different. Why I'll say that is also, I think, while this entire Karnataka saga was unfolding, Shiv, there was one person who was on a yatra from Ajmer to Jaipur, who was watching it very, very keenly. One person...
A day before counting, right?
A day before, a day before counting, he said he's going to embark on this yatra. But while, the election was closing in, the day the result was announced, he was on a yatra. So one person, I believe, who was rooting for DK Shivakumar was Mr. Sachin Pilot, because it would have changed the game in terms of perception for him in Rajasthan. It didn't go down that way. Why do I find it very similar? It's exactly that. Because what happened? There's no public announcement. This is all speculation and, of course, source-based information that there's going to be a rotational chief ministership of 2.5 years. Similarly, when Sachin Pilot was Rajasthan president, same like DK Shivakumar, at that point of time, there was no public announcement that he's going to get the last final 1 year. But the difference comes in, DK Shivakumar is no Sachin Pilot. In terms of the MLA strength that he commands, in terms of just the strategist that he is. But yeah, I do see similarities. I do see if in Lok Sabha the Congress does well. Last time they, 26 out of 28 seats went to the BJP. If the Congress does well, will Siddaramaiah actually step down?
Because
he might take credit and he says, I've earned it.
I feel that, there's no question of DK Shivakumar going the Sachin Pilot way. And the reason I see him happy right now is because I think he believes this to be a victory in the sense that he may not be #1 in the government, but he believes he's #1 in the Karnataka Congress. And that's not going anywhere. So you're #2 in the government and you're #1 in the Karnataka Congress, which is a huge position of power going into 2024.
But he doesn't have the MLA strength.
Similarly, no, I'll tell you why he doesn't have the MLA strength. Because most of the
why there was no question of breaking the party.
Most of the first time MLAs were actually on his side. The reason in the ballot box they chose to go ahead and say that, let the High Command decide, let us be neutral right now, is because Siddaramaiah played it very cleverly by campaigning in constituencies.
That's what even Sachin Pilot said.
But this campaigning in constituencies where DK Shivakumar had chosen them. So they were left neutral, but they are loyalists of DK Shivakumar.
But look at it this way, Shiv. Congress is the winner of what's happened in the last week. Why aren't we talking about the losers? The real lessons of the last week are for the BJP.
I talked of the losers.
That's right. You referred to them, and he's bang on. You've got a very strong high command, and we can. I think the real questions are now for the BJP. Look, the Congress may have found a template. Every state in this election is different to the other, but a hyper-localized election in Himachal and a hyper-localized localized election in Karnataka, empowered local leaders without too much of interference from Delhi, has helped the Congress in both these states. What about the BJP? The Prime Minister does 17 rallies, 9 road shows, face of the Prime Minister on the last day of voting versus DK and Siddaramaiah on the other side. Why aren't we talking about that, my friend? Why is the Democratic Newsroom not talking about Prime Minister Modi, Amit Shah on our channel?
You should have talked about it.
He asked me a question about DK.
I have to say,
I'll tell you, there is another interesting thing.
Just a minute. Amit Shah on our channel said we will get not less than 130. The Prime Minister did. Look, I'm not blaming them. I think the same Prime Minister won Gujarat by a big margin.
The same Prime Minister.
I'll tell you why.
Prime Minister Rajdeep will campaign in 2024 in Karnataka and make a difference.
But the questions for the BJP stem from what Rahul said. If you have a strong high command, and Mr. Modi is the most popular leader in the country without a shadow of the doubt, why is he unable to transfer the double engine rhetoric on the ground? Because when one engine doesn't work, gets derailed, then your governance model doesn't work as effectively. Now what will you do with a Vasundhara Raje? You spoke about Sachin Pilot. We should be speaking of what happens to a Vasundhara Raje, what happens to a Shivraj Singh Chauhan in Madhya Pradesh. Who is your face?
But the BJP
Just a minute, ma'am. Who is your face in Chhattisgarh? You still don't have a leader of the opposition in Karnataka. The BJP is going to have to look at what are we going to do to empower local leaders if the Congress is going to start localizing every election? That's I think, the real question.
I'll give you more fodder on BJP. I'll tell you. The bigger problem for the BJP is 9 years after ruling India, the BJP has saturated in its key strong areas and has not broken any new ground. That's the real challenge.